Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the KAPE Technologies PLC investor presentation. Throughout this recorded presentation, investors will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged and can be submitted at any time via the Q&A tab that's just situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. Please just simply type in your questions and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives during the meeting itself. However, the company will review all of the questions submitted today and publish responses where it is appropriate to do so. These will be available via your Investor Meet Company dashboard, and we will notify you by email once these are ready for your review. Before we begin, I would like to submit the following poll, and if you could give that your kind attention, I'm sure the company would be most grateful. I'd now like to hand you over to CEO Ido Ehrlichman. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are very pleased to share with you the trading update for the first 6 months of the year. This is a high-level trading numbers ahead of the interim results we will release in September like any other year. But it was important for us to use this opportunity to share some insights of the very strong performance of the business in the first half of the year, both organically and obviously the progress in the integration with ExpressVPN. Overall, we are trading on track. We are very pleased with the performance in the first half of the year, crossing the $301 million of revenues with the EBITDA of $88.5 million adjusted EBITDA and crossing the 7 million paying subscribers. Further improvement to retention rates that now at 82%, and it's all progressing very well. Overall, KAPE, if I look on the evolution of the group, we always were growing our revenues in a profitable way, and we continue to focus on a profitable growth. And you can see that in addition to the very strong growth in revenues to $301.6 million compared to the $95.5 million in the first half of last year, and on a pro forma basis, more than 19% growth, we were able to continue expand the EBITDA margin. And in the first half of the year, we were at the 29.3% EBITDA margin, which is a result of a very good progress in the integration with Express in the first half of the year. Overall, pro forma adjusted EBITDA at $88.5 million compared to the $28.7 million of last year. KAPE in each one of our segments, the digital privacy, which is the largest segment following the acquisition of ExpressVPN, the digital security and the digital content, which is based on the web silence operation that we acquired last year. All three segments grown double digit, and we are very pleased with the performance of each one of the segments, and especially with the digital privacy that in addition to the 19% organic growth in the first half of the year, we are progressing very well in the integration of ExpressVPN and our other consumer VPN assets. This is the 6th consecutive year of very strong growth in every parameter. In slide 5, you can see the continued progress in the growth of our subscriber base, which is now in a very healthy level as we look on the mix between the younger cohorts and the more mature cohorts. We are very pleased with the progress so far. The market is very solid. Despite the economic changes in the world, we see very strong demand to our software solutions, and the market is growing. The market is growing, and KAPE in a very good position to continue capture a significant market share and continue building KAPE as a global leader to help people to live more secure and private digital life. And looking now on the 7 million subscribers compared to where we started with the 145,000 subscribers in 2017, it makes us very proud. and it's a very strong testament on the strong positioning of KAPE and our ability to continue grow the subscriber base net of churn, and as we grow and expand our product offering to drive even a higher lifetime value by higher average revenue per user. KAPE, this year we had four key strategic objectives. One is to grow organically, and this is the year that the main focus is on organic growth and the integration with ExpressVPN, and we are very pleased that in every parameter we are growing very nicely this year. Recurring revenue now crossing the 88%. We had the target for this year of 88%. In the first half, we were at 88.6% of our overall revenues coming from subscription sources, which is great. This was a goal in the last few years to cross the 88%, which we are very happy to get to this level. It's another year that we are continuing to deliver on our yearly guidance and growing the revenues to above 610. So we guided for 610 to $624 million of revenues this year, that we feel very comfortable in achieving this target, especially seeing how well the integration between KAPE and ExpressVPN is going. I can tell you that we already finished the consolidation of the marketing function, the R&D function, and product management are fully consolidated to one team. We are very pleased that the two founders of ExpressVPN, Dan and Peter, took the operational leadership of the digital privacy segment, driving the integration and the growth and the product strategy for the digital privacy division. And it's all moving now very rapidly. Digital security is going well as well, both in the endpoint security and the cross-sell opportunities between the privacy and security solutions. And the digital content is now more than a year since we acquired Webcellence under the leadership of Rani and Ariel, continuing to grow very well, both in the core verticals of consumer security and privacy, as well as expanding to new verticals. And in the first half of the year, we've seen 25% growth in the digital content segment, which I'm reminding you, it's only third-party revenue. So it's not the work that the digital content is doing in order to drive a greater proportion of sales to the digital security and the digital privacy segments from organic traffic sources. We continue to be very profitable business. This is core to our growth strategy, that we are not only focusing on growing our top line, but we are doing it in a profitable way. And we take this opportunity to reiterate and on our EBITDA guidance for the year, $166 to $172 million, that we feel very, very comfortable with. Worth mentioning that we are on track to fund the first deferred consideration to ExpressVPN, both from the operation cash flow and the existing working capital facilities, exactly as we communicated after closing the ExpressVPN in December. So this is on track. One of the areas that we proved again and again that we know to do very well, so we grow organically like we're doing this year, and we are acquisitive business. No intention to do any significant acquisition this year, but we are, like always, monitoring a list of potential targets for acquisition that we engage on a regular basis with the teams, with the management teams, companies that we think can add value to the group. And in the latest changes in the tech world, we certainly starting to see great businesses that we are confident we can add value to the group in a much more attractive prices. Overall, we will continue with our journey to grow organically and through acquisitions like we've done so far. Another area that we are seeing very good progress, both in the digital privacy and the digital security divisions is the product development with a view to grow the lifetime value, either by improving retention rates further, and we certainly seeing in the first 6 months of the year a very good progress to retention rates partially by greater proportion of customers joining us at least 2 years ago, which they are beyond the period of higher churn, as well as introducing to ExpressVPN keys, which is the ExpressVPN password manager, which was the first initiative to try and improve the retention rate of Express, and we do see very good initial results. In addition, the digital security continued to expand, and there is a lot of potential to grow the digital security much more than the levels we are today. So overall, a very good progress in the first 6 months, and we are sailing through the year exactly as we planned, and I'm especially pleased with the very good progress of the integration with Express since the beginning of the year. Overall, KAPE will continue to execute on our strategy to help people to live more secure and private digital life, with an aim that KAPE product offering will cover the different angles of people around the world to help them to feel more secured in their online journey. We have very strong track record of growing organically and inorganically, and the outstanding performance in 2021 continued into 2022, combination of a very strong market as well as the very strong positioning of KAPE, and a lot of initiatives and things that we've done in previous years now coming to full effect, and this is all driving the very strong growth in the business. We already achieved a very significant strategic development, and the integration of ExpressVPN in certain areas even moving faster than what we expected. So the team's now working in a fully consolidated way, which is great. And this is something that we're seeing, that our ability to drive synergies out of the business and to work on a growth project together with the combined team is something that is now working in a very efficient way. We will continue to grow organically and through acquisitions. We built one of the most scalable platforms in the consumer security space. Even if we look on a broader, even if we take a broader view on the consumer technology, there are not too many companies that were able to scale up like KAPE to over $600 million of revenues and crossing the 7 million subscribers. And reminding you that we don't generate any revenues in the digital privacy and the digital security segment except selling our software. All of our 7 million subscribers are paying subscribers, and this is a very powerful model, and the combination of the strong unit economics and the scale of our subscriber base puts KAPE in a very strong position to continue being one of the global leaders in the consumer security market, and it's a very unique position. Our solutions are the best in class. We have category leaders in the consumer privacy market with a strong potential to expand to new markets as well. And the scale and the quality of the service that we provide enable us to drive significant growth into the business and to continue capture significant market share. So overall, if I'll summarize the performance in the first 6 months, I couldn't be happier with the numbers that we are showing. We are very confident that we'll deliver the guidance for the year, driving in the first 6 months revenues of more than $301 million in a very profitable way, whilst we are progressing in the integration with ExpressVPN. We delivered in all the goals and targets that we had for the first 6 months of the year, and the same trend continued to the second half already. So we are very confident with the performance in the rest of the year and beyond. So This was a very high level overview for the numbers for the first 6 months based on the trading update we released this morning. And now I'll open the floor for questions, and Oded and I will be very happy to provide more color on certain areas that you find interesting.
Ido, Oded, thank you very much indeed for your presentation this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, please do continue to submit your questions just by using the Q&A tab that's situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. But just while the team takes a few moments to review those questions that were submitted already, I would like to remind you that a recording of this presentation, along with a copy of the slides and the published Q&A, can be accessed via your investor dashboard. Ido, Oded, as you can see, we have received a number of questions that were submitted throughout today's presentation by investors, and thank you to all the investors for submitting their questions. If I could please just hand back to you guys to run through that Q&A tab, and where appropriate to do so, if you could please just read out the questions and give your response, and then I'll pick up from you at the end. Thank you.
Sure, I'll try to go in order not to miss any questions. So I'll start with the first one. What has driven your strong performance in H1 2022? I think that this is a trend that we're seeing now for 3 or 4 years, that people are keen to gain back the control on the information they share online. The market is growing, moving from the early adoption stage to mass market. We see it very clearly that millions of people around the world, and for KAPE specifically, as a company that is a consumer SaaS business that's focusing on markets that drive high lifetime value, like the US and Western European countries, it's all driving very strong growth into the market. People aware that they need to limit the ability of third party and tracking everything they do online, plus the geopolitical tension between Russia and Ukraine, not in those specific markets, but even around the world, re-emphasized again the importance to have undisrupted access to the internet, and it's all driving the growth in the market. Second question, in terms of further integration milestones for the remainder of the year, what are the main initiatives? So we've already finished the consolidation of the key functions. I mentioned the marketing, the R&D, the HR, finance, all the support functions as well are fully consolidated. Oded is leading the financial integration, and most of the heavy lifting was already completed. For the rest of the year, the main focus is, one, to continue drive the product strategy and the differentiation between ExpressVPN as our premium brand, CyberGhost, and private internet access. On the R&D, to consolidate all the consumer privacy assets into one tech platform in order to drive high quality of service in an efficient way. Those are the two main areas, as well as executing on growth initiatives that will come to full. We'll start to see the results of those projects hopefully in the first half of next year. Next question, what's more important for the business, absolute customer growth or greater levels of cross-sell? So as a CEO, I'll say both, but obviously we are implementing few initiatives. KAPE, as a consumer SaaS business, can only grow if we grow the numbers of subscribers buying our software, or drive higher lifetime value, which is a combination of higher retention or higher average revenue per user. So far, and still to a certain extent, most of the focus was on scaling up as quickly as possible the numbers of subscribers. And we are very pleased that we're now serving more than 7 million people around the world, all paying customers. It's a very impressive scale already, and there is a lot of potential still. In addition to that, we are doing a few initiatives to improve retention rates further and drive the average revenue per user. This is an area that there is a lot of potential that will impact very positively the organic growth and the profitability of the group. And this is definitely important, already important, and will be even more important in the future. Next question, should we expect any further M&A, or are you looking to complete the ExpressVPN integration first? So the priority is obviously to drive the successful integration with ExpressVPN. We feel very comfortable we have from where we are already. In 2022, when we signed off the plan for the year, M&A was not a key priority for the year. It was mainly the integration with Express to drive the benefits from the Web Services acquisition, grow organically our subscriber base, and drive higher lifetime value. We engage on a regular basis with the group of companies that we think can add value to the group. And in certain cases, we're already seeing more comfortable valuations that will put us in a position that we will definitely not hesitate to execute on an acquisition once we believe we found the right opportunity and the right price. But this is something that I don't believe will happen, for sure not a significant acquisition before the end of the year. Are you worried about the general slowdown in consumer confidence spending, or are your solution are now considered a must-have expense? So firstly, I think that the results speaks on themselves. We monitor the changes in the market on a daily basis. But the first half of the year was the strongest first half of KAPE since we started the business, and this is the mainly result of the strong positioning of KAPE in the market and the underlying growth in the market. So we are very confident that the market will continue to grow, and KAPE will be able to continue scale up in terms of numbers of subscribers, etc. We do monitor the changes in the world, both on the cost base that we are more sensible and trying to drive for efficiencies. But this was always the case, KAPE, and I think this is part of my management style, that I would like to run efficient businesses. And I believe that now through the integration with Express, it's all on track. And consumer security in general and consumer privacy, people around the world, it's almost becoming like a home insurance. It's not one of the costs that you cut immediately, and people understand the need to have a more secured and private online journey, and it's definitely something that we feel confident that the market will continue to grow in the next few years. And the higher entry barriers and the positioning of KAPE puts us in a very confident place to capture a lot of this growth. Could you provide some narrative around both retention rates and churn? So retention rates, most of the churn is happening in the first 2 years of the subscriber life. This was always the case and will still. One of the things that we are seeing very clearly, and we knew that we'll get to this stage, is that as the mixture of the proportion of the more mature cohorts becoming more significant in the overall subscriber base, by definition, we are seeing a high retention rate. If you look on our monthly subscriber base, the monthly evolution of our subscriber base, so end of June, we were at around 7 million overall subscribers. You can see that we have roughly 60% of our customers already joining us at least 2 years ago. So this is a big driver to the improved retention rates, the higher profit margin, and the improved cash conversion rates as a result of greater proportion of revenues coming from renewal. Next question. Sorry. How will you compete with companies like NortonLifeLock, etc., which can offer broader consumer security bundles than you? It's a great question, and I think that KAPE now proven for 6 years that we are able to challenge the dominancy of the more traditional consumer security providers like NortonLifeLock, like Avast, like McAfee. Now we sell ExpressVPN annual subscription for $99. I don't believe anyone in the industry is selling at this level the comparable subscription that we sell, and this is a result of the high quality of service that we are able to offer customers. One of the big differentiators between KAPE and our approach to the more traditional providers is that KAPE is a paid-only service. We don't have any free products. We don't monetize the data of the users. We don't distribute advertisements, and this puts us in a very strong position that we are coming from the main pain point of consumer around the world, the loss of control on their personal information, in a very simplified operating model that we only make money selling our software. And this is what enabled us to capture a lot of market share from the more traditional players and scale up and grow much faster than them. What differentiates your VPN services from your competitors? Is it a question of quality or marketing and mindshare? So it's predominantly the quality of service. As the market grown, the ability to provide millions of people a high quality of service that will be stable, secured, fast, and private internet connection becoming much more challenging than what it was a few years ago. And KAPE, through each one of our brands, are able to provide very high level of service. And I encourage you to test us and try to use our ExpressVPN and some of the other competitors in the market and see the difference in the user experience and our ability that in one click to provide the customer to have a fully secured, private, stable, and fast internet connection. This is something that no one else can offer today in the same level as we do. How much spare capacity have we got to improve turnover before we need a substantial investment in more facilities? So we are a very scalable business. We have a significant operational leverage. We believe that as we continue to grow and drive higher proportion of revenues from renewal, we will not need to do a significant capital expenditure in order to provide a level of service. We aim, and we said it a few times in the past, that we target to cross the 30% EBITDA margin, and we believe that in the next few years we can take it even to around the 35% EBITDA margin. What are your plans for capital allocation after the ExpressVPN merger? So firstly, we are a highly cash generative business. This year, we expect around close to 85% cash conversion from the adjusted EBITDA that will mainly use to pay the deferred consideration of the ExpressVPN acquisition. We are always looking to find the right balance between debt and equity. We feel very comfortable with the existing gearing ratio, especially with the high level of cash conversion. And we will look once we finished with paying the deferred consideration of Express, definitely to execute on further acquisition and expand the product offering in order to drive higher lifetime value and offer broader set of software solution to our already large customer base. What trends are you seeing in the cost of customer acquisition? What is your strategy for customer acquisition? So our go-to-market strategy is a combination of three routes. One is the paid user acquisition, which is a very strong underlying asset of KAPE, the knowledge and the capability to deploy a budget and drive high return on investment on paid user acquisition campaigns. The second go-to-market channel is organic marketing, which following the acquisition of Webcellence last year, is becoming very significant, and we're already seeing very good results in driving down the customer acquisition cost as a result of a greater proportion of sales coming from organic traffic sources. And KAPE today, the combination of our strong paid user acquisition capabilities and organic marketing capabilities enable us to drive efficiencies into the customer acquisition cost And we already, I think we showed it in the annual results, and we'll show it again in September, that we were able to build up very healthy unit economics. The third element is the channel partner network that our especially ExpressVPN and CyberGhost integrated to Philips, Acer, Hutchison Mobile in Hong Kong, and this is another area that we see a lot of potential to go even further. Where do you see KAPE in 10 years' time? I think that we are progressing very well to build up KAPE as their leading platform to enable people to live more secure and private digital life. There's so much growth to deliver and in order to realize the full potential of KAPE, and we will continue to do it both organically and through acquisitions. Since January 2022, despite KAPE's strong performance, the share price has dropped circa 30%. Comment, please. So first of all, we are mainly focused on driving and building the best business we can, and I think that the fact that we are for 6 years we are delivering what we are saying we are going to do. This is the most important thing, that we are building the best business we can, the best company we can. Having said that, we want to see the strong work that and the strong delivery that we are able to achieve being reflected in the valuation of the company, and I believe we will get there. Obviously the consumer, the tech world, and the valuation in the tech world in the last few months changed drastically, and I believe that the decline in the share price of KAPE is more related to the macro environment and less the performance of and the potential of KAPE. But certainly we are looking on ways to get the well-deserved valuation on the hard work and the great numbers that we are able to deliver and the growth potential in the group. This is the last question that I see.
Ido, that's great. Thank you very much indeed for taking the time to address all of those questions that came in from investors this afternoon. And of course, if there are any further questions submitted today, we'll make these available to you immediately after the presentation has ended for your review. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll publish all those responses where it's appropriate to do so on the Investor Meet Company platform. Ido, perhaps before redirecting those on the call to provide you with their feedback, which I know is particularly important to yourselves and the company, if I could please just ask you for a few closing comments to wrap up with, that'd be great.
Thank you very much for joining. We are very pleased with the performance so far in the year to get to the over $300 million of revenues with more than 29% EBITDA margin in a period that we are driving a significant integration project. Makes us very pleased, and we are very confident that we'll be able to deliver the guidance that we gave for the full year. So thank you very much for joining, and we already started the second half with a very strong momentum as well.
Ido, that's great. I know that as well. Thank you very much indeed for taking the time to update investors today. Could I please ask investors not to close this session, as you'll now be automatically redirected for the opportunity to provide your feedback in order that the management team can better understand your views and expectations. This will only take a few moments to complete, but I'm sure will be greatly valued by the company. On behalf of the management team of KAPE Technologies PLC, we would like to thank you for attending today's presentation. That now concludes today's session, so good afternoon to you all.